Okay, what I'm going to be tying here is Eric's Improved Fathead. Basically, it's just coming off of a Kelly Gallup's Fathead pattern or heifer groomer pattern. I start with a size 710 Dairiki, number 4, and using a 210 denier brown thread. You want to start attaching your thread right in the middle of the hook. Go back to about 3/4. And I'll be using a yellow and brown marabou. And basically these are just your what I call bighorn colors. I strip off the ends of the marabou here. Makes it a little bit easier to tie in. I actually tie in at the thick part of the stem. A lot of people tie in with the tips first. Either one is okay. I like to use the thicker part of the stem just because it makes it a lot easier to tie in and it doesn't break as easy as the tips. You're going to bring this all the way, almost all the way up to the very front there. You need to start palmering your marabou forward. Make sure and pulling out every time you go around. Just start bringing it back. When you get it up to the eye, you're just going to make one wrap right behind to secure it. Tie a couple times in front, 3 or 4 will work. You're going to cut off this excess marabou. You're going to pull this all back here. You're going to wrap right over it to secure it down. For this particular pattern, I'm going to be using the mallard flank in gold. I'm going to make sure that it goes right across the top, right down the center. Secure that in. And I actually add rubber legs to this pattern. The movement, to me, at least on the bighorn, seems more effective. And I'm using fly enhancer legs from Hairline. They're the gold, amber, and black. And I like to separate the rubber legs a little bit. And as I do that, I pull on each one. That way they're not uneven. So when you're attaching the first one, you stretch this next one out and then just tie it in. Then you take the front ones that are here, you're bringing them over the top, you pull just a little bit to stretch them out, and that way your rubber legs stay all about the same length. Then you're going to whip finish. And that's the back part of the fly. What I use to connect the back piece to the front piece is called, I use bead-along, and it's 9-strand beading wire. I just bring it in here to attach it. When the beads that I use, you can get anywhere, any color you desire. I like to use the colors that match the fly, so I'll be using brown beads. You can make a mixture like brown, yellow, anything that you like. And I'm using 3 beads here. For the front hook, I'm using a 700 size 4 Dairiki. When you attach this, you want to make sure that the swivel piece that the fly is going to go off of is straight up and down. You want to slide that beetle on back through the eye, pulling it down, and then I bring them up on each side. Try to keep it even. And then you're going to repeat the process that you started on the back fly. Again, just stripping that marabou off to give it a good place to tie in. Here you want to give yourself about a 1/2 inch because you got to give yourself room for the hairhead that you're going to tie in. Just that 1 wrap to secure it. 3 or 4 wraps again in front of it. Again, you're going to comb it back. Tying your mallard flank again, you want to get it straight across the top. Attaching your rubber legs, doing the same concept that you did on the back fly. This is where you're going to do your deer hair, your head. I like the first chunk to be pretty big. Pretty good sized clump. The hair stacker that you should use is should have a pretty wide mouth on it. I like to give it about an inch, pointing back. You one wrap, pretty loose, the second wrap loose, and just spin it around. You just wrap until it stays tight, and you're going to bring that front end, that's right here, and you're going to attach just a small clump in the very front. The way I like to do this one is I actually, instead of just cutting the tips off, I just leave them pointing forward. And that's going to bring you right up into the eye. You just whip finish it. Now to trim this, what you're using is a double-edged razor blade, one that's pretty flexible. You want to get it however you want to make the shape of the head. I usually do mine, try to bend it in about half-half, and you're going to go right up through the middle, and you're just going to push. Clean up the sides a little bit. Same concept, but I don't do it so dramatic for the bottom. Just push straight across. What I've noticed on the bighorn, anyway, is that the fish, for some reason, are attracted to eyes, and the bigger the better. So for this particular one, I'm using gold plastic eyes, about 7.5 millimeter, with the posts on them. You just trim the posts off. I've already done that. After you apply the super glue, you drop the eye in and just push it enough to where the glue adheres, so when you go to do the other side, it doesn't fall out. Then you can go through, making sure your hands are stable, and start squeezing the eyes in without super gluing the head to your hands, which happens quite a bit. And that's the finished fly.